born with a Once upon a time in a quiet little village, a boy was born with a gentle heart, curious eyes, and a Once upon a time in a quiet little village, a boy was born with a gentle heart, curious eyes, and a mind that dreamed far beyond the rice fields around him. No one knew then that he'd one day carry a nation, that he'd become the first Muslim president of Guyana, and only the second Muslim head of state in all the Americas. But here he is, Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali, a man shaped by faith, raised on humble soil, and walking history with two little boys holding his hands and a wife who walks step for step beside him. This isn't just politics. This is a Caribbean love story with oil, ambition, and a whole lot of purpose. If Caribbean stories like this light you up, like, subscribe, and drop a comment. This one is about love, legacy, and leadership. Born on April 25, 1980, in Leonora, a quiet village nestled on the west coast of Demerara, Irfan Ali came into the world where the sea breeze danced through sugarcane fields and the calls to prayer echoed from village mosques. His upbringing was deeply rooted in the rhythms of rural Guyana. Early morning fire prayers, barefoot errands to the corner shop, cricket on dusty roads, and evenings filled with quiet observation rather than noise. Raised by devout Indo-Guyanese Muslim parents, Irfan Ali's parents, Mohammed Osman Ali and Bibi Sheriman Shah, were both devoted educators, guardians not just of knowledge, but of values. Together with his brother, Mohammed Akhtar Ali, the family spent part of their lives on the serene island of Laguan, where the sea breeze met the sounds of school bells. In that nurturing environment, learning wasn't just a duty, it was a way of life. The chalk-stained hands of his parents didn't just teach in classrooms, they shaped a future leader, word by word, prayer by prayer, lesson by lesson. Irfan was instilled with the timeless values of humility, hard work, and compassion. He wasn't loud, but he was steady. The kind of child whose teachers remembered him as different, and whose elders whispered, "That boy going far." But long before Irfan would go far, his ancestors had already journeyed oceans. His maternal great-great-great-grandparents, Ujiyari and Bijawan, came from Basi village in Telajepur Thana, Busti district, in what is now Uttar Pradesh, India. In 1894, Ujiyari, Bijawan, their son Daldar, for other children, and a daughter-in-law left their homeland aboard the ship Rhine, bound for British Guiana under the indentureship system. They were assigned to plantation success in Laguan, part of the vast, brutal machinery that replaced slavery in the colonies with contracted Indian labor. It is from Daldar, son of Ujiyari, that Irfan descends. This history, often forgotten or glossed over in official books, remains woven into the very soil Irfan grew up on. It's part of what gave him his deep sense of justice and belonging, not just to a land, but to a lineage of survivors and builders. While many teenagers were plotting their escape from small-town limits, Irfan was sketching something else entirely, an audacious vision of a better Guyana, one where equity, unity, and opportunity weren't reserved for the elite, but spread across coastlines, creeks, and communities. His academic path took him far. A degree in management from the University of the West Indies, a master's in human resource planning and development from India, and later, a PhD in urban and regional planning from UWI, St. Augustine. But Irfan's success wasn't just stamped by universities. It was baptized in the fire of ambition. So how did he break into politics? Well, you know how they say preparation meets opportunity? In Irfan's case, it was more like prayer met persistence. In his early 20s, Irfan joined the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPP/C, one of Guyana's oldest and most influential political parties. And get this, he didn't show up waving banners and yelling slogans. No, Irfan Ali came in as the quiet strategist, working behind the scenes in the office of the president under Barrett Jagdeo. But he didn't stay in the shadows for long. By his early 30s, he made history, appointed Minister of Housing and Water, where he led massive housing developments across Guyana. Thousands of families, especially low-income ones, were finally able to call a piece of land home. That's when the public first said, "Wait, who is this guy?" And just like that, a humble boy from Leonora had walked into the engine room of power, not through noise, but through service. His big break. It came in 2020, after a controversial election season filled with recounts and international scrutiny. The 2020 Guyanese election wasn't just about votes. It was about race, oil, and power. A showdown between a mostly Indo-Guyanese PPP and an Afro-Guyanese-led government. And at the center of it all, a soft-spoken Muslim man from Leonora, Irfan Ali. When the ballots were cast, the PPP/C led. But then, suspicion, stalling, spreadsheets adjusted in back rooms. Ballots disappeared. Officials suddenly couldn't count. One even tried to declare results using a spreadsheet no one had seen before. International observers weren't having it. The U.S.